Well, I think that's a good segue, Marianne, because I think if the American people have the chance to see and hear your vision for the country contrasted with your opponents, then I think that a lot of people might wake up and realize that your politics are a lot more in alignment with their own politics, and maybe they've been led to believe by the mainstream media through their depiction of your platform and who you are as a person. So that's a good segue into a question I had. A few days ago, you released a statement officially challenging your Democratic primary opponents, President Biden and Bobby Kennedy Jr., to a debate. And we just wanted to give you a platform here to reiterate this message on our show if you would like to. So what is your message to your opponents, and why do you think it's meaningful for both of them to accept your challenge to debate?
Yeah, you know, I'm in Charleston. I read today that Bobby is in Charleston. He's going to be doing a press conference here tomorrow. So Bobby or Dennis, if you happen to be watching this, let's meet, let's talk, let's plan a debate. Obviously, many people, the majority of Americans, want to see President Biden debate his opponents. That's called democracy. Biden has a very different agenda than I do, and I have a very different agenda than Bobby does. All three of us have very different visions for this country. We intersect and interface at certain points, but the basic dynamic of all three of us is quite different. Let the American electorate hear. This is an open primary state, both of these, both South Carolina and New Hampshire. So obviously the DNC keeps saying they will not debate. So Fox News had said, we're going to have a town hall in New Hampshire, 30 minutes for you and 30 minutes for Bobby. And then Bobby made a deal with Sean Hannity, and I got left out of that one. So then News Nation or Newsmax, I would get confused, did Bobby, and they offered me he did a town hall, and they offered me an interview before, and I'm not going to be his opening act. I mean, we're all candidates here, right? So I feel now, okay, Bobby, debate me. So I put out a tweet the other night, which obviously you read, and I said, okay, the president won't debate us. Bobby, let's debate. And there has not been a response. I mean, I could text Dennis. I could text either one of them, but I think that's kind of, you know, whatever. But maybe, listen, if I don't get any response, I guess I'll make a video about why won't these guys debate me? What's going on?
Somebody's running scared. I don't know if maybe you can't say it, but I will.
I feel like a lot of people, Marianne, don't actually know that you're a Jewish candidate. And I was wondering, as a Jewish candidate, what your reaction was to the recent controversy around your opponent, RF Kennedy's statements regarding Ashkenazi Jews somehow being immune to the effects of COVID, seemingly invoking an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Do you think that figures in the media were accurate to label his comments as anti-Semitic?
This is the thing. It's worse than that. I don't think Bobby is anti-Semitic. Bobby lives in Los Angeles, and his wife works, you know, for what's his name?
Oh, the dude from from Seinfeld, Larry David.
So I don't think Bobby is anti-Semitic, but Bobby was throwing a bone to serious anti-Semites. And if he didn't know that, he should know that. Because to the people who hear him and eat stuff like that up, it's not that big a leap from, oh, COVID didn't affect Ashkenazi Jews, to, in the minds of the serious anti-Semites in this world, you know, the Rothschilds developed COVID. You get that, right? And if Bobby didn't know that, so no, do I think he himself is anti-Semitic? No. But that doesn't in any way make it okay for me that statements were uttered. They are dangerous.
Yeah, I had the same reaction. It didn't seem to me like he was saying those comments directly out of a place of bigotry necessarily, but it did seem to me to kind of expose who he was listening to, you know, where he gets his information about COVID. Because if you're repeating,
he went to speak to the Free Staters in New Hampshire. So his strategy is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Which is, and just to get one more little piece of follow up from you on this, because it's baffling to me too. I mean, I'm really perplexed by this campaign a lot. It seems to me, and you obviously have been campaigning in states where he's also been campaigning, but to go off of what you just mentioned, it doesn't seem like he's necessarily going after Democratic primary voters. Would you say that that's a fair assessment of his campaign?
Well, you know, I'm not a for the Bobby Kennedy campaign. So I think, you know, that question would be best put to someone else. But it is an interesting array of people that he is speaking to at times. But, you know, I can't speak for the Bobby Kennedy campaign. But yeah, when you're making certain comments like,
oh no, the Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese are immune to this vaccine that everybody called the China virus for a long time in the exact same circle you're pandering to. Like, it raises some red flags of suspicion in my book for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
either knew what you were doing or you should have known what you were doing. So either way, don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's always under this guise of, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking.
Always is.
Right.